so much for stopping by the homestead. My name is Sarah from Living Traditions Homestead, and it is a chilly day here in Missouri, but I decided to come out here into our new greenhouse and check things out, see how warm it got, and to talk with you about whether or not you should start your spring seeds. Now, as I walked in, I checked the thermometer in here, and it is about 75 degrees and humid in the greenhouse right now, although outside it's about 38 degrees. So our daytime temperature has significantly increased into kind of a tropical, you know, I was gonna say paradise, but I'm really kind of too warm right now, so I'm not sure if it's a paradise. Paradise for tropical plants and maybe paradise for the seedlings that we're gonna start. But anyway, you guys, I wanted to have a chance to get in front of you guys early on before the spring even happens and talk with you about when you should start your seeds for your gardens. Now, I kind of had a little bit of a heart attack about a week ago. Lumna Acres put out their very first seed starting video, and then a couple days ago, Dirt Patch Heaven had a video about starting seeds, and I'm like, oh my gosh, have I forgotten to start? Have I not looked ahead in my calendar? Have I not scheduled things appropriately? And so I went back and I looked at my seed starting schedule, and I realized that I haven't missed the boat, that things are gonna be okay. But I wanted a chance to talk with you guys about seed starting because it can be very overwhelming. Like, when do you start? How many do you start? What do you start when? And all of those kinds of things. Now, I want to tell you that there are disadvantages to starting your seeds too early and starting them too late. So appropriate planning and scheduling for yourself is super crucial. But I want to break it down into just a few really easy steps so that you all can feel a little bit at ease about starting your seeds for your spring and summer garden. So, when do you start your seeds indoors? Now, there are three things that I'm going to tell you that you should do, kind of three steps. Now, the first one is the most critical step of all. Everybody in the country is going to start their seeds at a different time because everybody's last date of frost is different. So there are parts of the country that people are starting seeds and it's perfectly fine. In my neck of the woods, it's not quite time yet. We're getting close, but not quite time. So the last date of frost is really an agreed upon date in your area that should be the last time that your area gets a hard frost. And that will determine when you should be starting plants, whether they're cool weather plants, warm weather plants, or what have you. So I'm going to put a link down below to a website that you can go to. It's Dave's Garden, that you can just enter in your zip code, and it will tell you when your last date of frost is, and that is what the date you're going to go off of for determining when you're going to start your seeds and when you're going to plant things in the garden. So that's step number one. Step number two is to really identify the plants that are cool weather plants, warm weather plants, and then plants that need to be direct seeded. By breaking those down into different categories, it makes the entire process a lot more manageable and a lot less overwhelming. Cool weather plants are those plants and seeds that you can plant when the weather isn't quite warm yet. You can actually plant cool weather plants about 4 to 6 weeks before the last frost date. These plants can tolerate a little bit of frost and can actually do well in the cool weather and will not do so well in the warmer weather. I'm going to put a list of those examples of those plants right over here, but they include broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, lettuce, spinach, and maybe a few more. Those are the plants that you are going to start first. not only can you plant them 4 to 6 weeks before your last frost date, but you're going to plant those seeds inside about 4 to 6 weeks before you can put them out in the garden. So that gives you a first goal, a first part of the project to work on, and then you can kind of forget about the other things until you get there. Now, warm weather plants or crops or seeds include things like tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, okra, and those plants need a warm summer in order to grow effectively. But if they get exposed to even the lightest frost, it's going to cause quite a bit of damage. Now those plants, you're going to start anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks, maybe an average of 6 weeks before the last frost date, to give them an opportunity to grow big enough so that when you reach your last frost date, you can get them in the ground and you can get going, they can get going growing. Now, direct sow seeds or direct seeding means that these plants, you'll actually put the seed right in the ground. You won't start them inside. There are quite a few plants that don't do very well planted ahead of time indoors and then transplanted, and there are others that don't do well at all. So I'm going to put a list of those over here as well. Some things, I know artichokes don't do well at all planted in the house. Dill doesn't do well at all. You should directly seed those seeds in the ground rather than in the house. So sort your seeds into different categories: cool weather, warm weather, and direct seeding, direct sow. Okay, the last step in the process is to create your planting schedule. So using the information that I've given you about cool weather plants, warm weather plants, come up with a planting schedule for yourself. And that will make it a lot less overwhelming. If you're unsure of the planting time frame for any of the seeds that you have, look on the back of the seed packet. A lot of times it will say on there when they recommend that you start those seeds. But however, if you can't find that, now I'm probably going to give you the best piece of advice right now, okay? If you haven't been paying attention so far, if you've been taking notes, please stop and listen to what I have to say. My biggest advice, and one of the keys to making this simple for myself and for you, is to use a tool that has been created and is free from the Johnny Seeds Company. The Johnny Seeds Company has a seed starting date calendar on their website where all you have to do is put in your zip code, and it automatically populates all of the start dates based on your area, the start dates for your seeds, when you should then put them in the ground, and all of those kinds of things. Not only do they have that for most of your major vegetables that you're going to put in the garden, they also have the same thing for a lot of your flowers. So make sure that you check that out. And to be honest with you, if you go there and put in your zip code, you can actually print all of that out. You can take that to your most comfy place and just enter all of those dates into your calendar, and then you have it right there laid out for you. That's what I'm going to do. So those are 3 steps to help you determine whether or not you should be starting your seeds today. Even though we all have spring fever, we need to be patient and make sure that we're doing things at the appropriate time frame so that our little plants can make it to the garden and give us an amazing harvest this summer. Now, if you are new to gardening and new to seed starting, I actually did a video last year about how to make soil blocks rather than having to use any kind of pots or that kind of thing. And the recipe that I used to make that soil only has 2 ingredients. I'll go ahead and link to that video right up here. I also recently did a video on my top 5 veggies to grow in the garden that are best for canning. And if you're interested in knowing more about that, go ahead and look at the video up there. You guys, I'm so excited for spring. I hope you are too. I can't wait to get my hands dirty and in the garden. If you are new to our channel, if this is the first time stopping by the homestead, welcome, and I hope that you would join us again in the future. And if you could press the subscribe button below, it would help you know when we put out new videos. Hey, don't forget to stop by our Facebook group called Traditionalists with Living Traditions Homestead. I love to interact with you guys on there. Until next time, you guys, thanks so much for stopping by the homestead. Take care and God bless.